There is a pain that does not come from strangers. It comes from the hands you once held, from the voice you once believed, from the heart you once welcomed. Betrayal does not knock. It walks through the front door because you gave it the key. And when someone betrays you once, your heart will whisper, "They've changed," but your soul remembers the wound. Listen carefully. Forgiveness is wisdom. Blind trust is not. You are not called to keep reopening the same door just because someone knows your name. Your peace is too expensive. Your purpose is too sacred. Your life is too valuable to become a waiting room for repeated disappointment. Today, you stop confusing love with permission. You stop confusing kindness with weakness. You stop giving loyalty to people who keep proving they cannot carry it. Life has a remarkable way of teaching us lessons we never asked to learn. Sometimes the greatest teacher is heartbreak. Sometimes the greatest classroom is disappointment. Sometimes the greatest blessing arrives wearing the clothes of betrayal. Every broken promise reveals something, not just about them, about you. About what you tolerated, about what you ignored, about the warnings your spirit whispered while your emotions shouted louder. There comes a season when you must stop asking, "Why did they betray me?" and begin asking, "What is this experience preparing me to become?" Because every painful experience has two choices. It can make you bitter, or it can make you wiser. You cannot always stop people from lying. You cannot always stop people from leaving. You cannot always stop people from pretending, but you can decide who receives your trust. Trust is not a gift handed out because someone apologizes. Trust is earned, slowly, partly, consistently. Your future deserves your wisdom, not your desperation. Now let us walk through the lessons that protect both your heart and your destiny. People can master the language of apology. They can cry, they can promise, they can swear they have changed. Words are easy, character is difficult. Anyone can speak for 5 minutes. Integrity speaks every single day. When someone betrays you once, your first responsibility is not to judge them forever. It is to watch patiently, watch quietly, because patterns never lie. Life has a way of revealing what conversation tries to hide. Time is the greatest truth teller. A person can rehearse an apology. They can memorize the perfect words. They can say everything your hurting heart longs to hear. But no one can rehearse consistency forever. Eventually, who they truly are will rise above what they pretend to be. That is why wisdom does not rush. Wisdom observes. Pay attention to how people behave when no one is applauding them. Pay attention to how they respond when life becomes inconvenient. Pay attention to how they treat those who have nothing to offer them. Character is not displayed in moments of comfort. Character is revealed in moments of pressure. Pressure removes the mask. Pressure exposes the heart. Pressure reveals the truth. A person who truly changes does not demand immediate trust. They understand why trust disappeared. They accept the consequences. Real change is patient. Real change is humble. Real change is consistent. When someone has genuinely transformed, they do not become angry because you need time. They do not accuse you of being unforgiving because you are careful. They recognize that trust is like fine glass. Once shattered, it can be restored only through patience, honesty, and repeated acts of integrity. They understand that healing cannot be forced. It must be earned. Do not let loneliness rush your judgment. Loneliness has convinced many people to return to places that once broke them. It whispers that any company is better than being alone. But loneliness is temporary. Repeated betrayal leaves wounds that last much longer. Do not confuse missing someone with needing them. You can miss a person and still recognize they are not healthy for your future. You can love someone and still admit they are unsafe for your peace. That is not cruelty, that is wisdom. Do not let memories rewrite reality. Your heart remembers the laughter. It remembers the celebrations. It remembers the dreams you shared. But your scars remember the sleepless nights. They remember the broken promises. They remember the tears you wiped away when no one else was watching. Listen to both. Do not erase the truth simply because the memories are beautiful. Every chapter belongs to your story, not just the pleasant ones. Growth comes when you are honest enough to remember the whole picture instead of only the parts your emotions want to keep. There is strength in believing what people repeatedly do, not what they repeatedly say. Answers are the language that never needs translation. Every choice a person makes tells you what they value. Every repeated behavior reveals where their priorities truly lie. If respect appears only in conversation but never in action, it is not respect. If loyalty exists only in promises but never in decisions, it is not loyalty. Consistency is the loudest testimony of character. The strongest people are not those who never trust again. They are the ones who trust wisely. They refuse to become bitter because one person failed them. They refuse to close their hearts forever. Instead, they become more discerning. They learn to recognize the difference between charm and sincerity, between attention and commitment, between temporary emotion and lasting character. They allow actions to introduce character, not charming speeches, not emotional performances, not empty promises, because words may decorate deception, but actions reveal truth, always. Remember this whenever life places people in your path. You do not owe instant trust simply because someone asks for another chance. Trust is a privilege, not an entitlement. It grows one honest decision at a time. It is built through reliability, accountability, and unwavering integrity. Let your heart remain kind, but let your wisdom lead the way. Believe the evidence of consistent actions more than the beauty of convincing words, because in the end, a person's life will always speak louder than their voice. Many people stay connected to betrayal because they fear starting over. They think, what if I lose them? But ask yourself something deeper. What have you already lost by keeping them? Your sleep, your confidence, your peace, your smile? Your ability to trust yourself? Your joy? Sometimes the greatest loss is not the person who walks away. It is the version of yourself that slowly disappears while trying to keep them. Sometimes we become prisoners of history. We stay because of memories. We stay because of years invested. We stay because we remember how things used to be instead of accepting how they are now. We stay because we keep hoping yesterday will somehow return. But life does not move backward. Neither should you. There comes a moment when you must stop asking, who were they? And begin asking, who are they choosing to be today? Because people are not measured by their potential. They are measured by their patterns. And patterns tell stories that promises cannot erase. Many people remain trapped because they confuse endurance with love. They believe that suffering proves commitment. They believe that sacrificing their peace is the price of keeping someone close. But love should never require you to abandon yourself. Love should never demand that you become smaller so another person can remain comfortable. Real love does not ask you to live with constant anxiety. Real love does not force you to question your worth every morning. Real love does not make betrayal feel normal. No, walking away from repeated disrespect is not failure. It is freedom. It is choosing peace over chaos. It is choosing dignity over desperation. It is choosing truth over illusion. Some doors are not closed to punish you. They are closed to protect you. Do not mistake the pain of letting go for the pain of making the wrong decision. Healing hurts. Growth stretches you. Freedom can feel lonely before it feels beautiful. But every step away from repeated betrayal is a step toward becoming whole again. Your self-respect is your foundation. Once that foundation cracks, every relationship becomes unstable. Without self-respect, you begin accepting what you once promised yourself you would never tolerate. You excuse dishonesty. You overlook disrespect. You silence your own intuition. You ignore the voice inside that keeps whispering, you deserve better. Protect that voice. It is one of the greatest gifts you possess. Never shrink yourself just to keep someone comfortable. Never apologize for expecting honesty. Never apologize for expecting loyalty. Never apologize for expecting respect. Those are not impossible standards. They are healthy standards. Anyone who asks you to lower them is asking you to lower your value. Do not do it. The world will always try to convince you that being chosen is more important than choosing yourself. Do not believe that lie. Being accepted by someone else means very little if you have abandoned your own soul in the process. Stand tall. Speak honestly. Walk away when your dignity demands it, not because you hate them, but because you finally love yourself enough to stop accepting less than you deserve. You deserve honesty. You deserve consistency. You deserve relationships where trust grows instead of constantly bleeding. You deserve conversations instead of manipulation. You deserve encouragement instead of control. You deserve peace instead of confusion. Never settle for crumbs simply because you once tasted a feast. Your future should never be held hostage by your past. Remember this, attachment says, I cannot live without you. Self-respect says, I refuse to lose myself because of you. There is incredible strength in reaching the moment where your peace becomes more valuable than another person's approval. There is freedom in realizing that being alone for a season is far healthier than remaining connected to someone who repeatedly breaks your spirit. The strongest people are not those who hold on forever. The strongest people know when holding on is destroying everything they are meant to become. Choose self-respect every single time, because your identity is worth protecting. Your peace is worth protecting. Your purpose is worth protecting. And once you lose yourself trying to save a relationship that refuses to honor your worth, No relationship can save you. The greatest relationship you will ever build is the one you have with the person staring back at you in the mirror. Guard that relationship with courage. Protect it with wisdom. Honor it with unwavering self-respect. Forgiveness is powerful. It frees your heart. It lifts heavy burdens. It breaks chains of bitterness. It allows your soul to breathe again after carrying the weight of disappointment for far too long. Forgiveness is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy stone in your hands every single day. At first, you believe you are carrying it against someone else, but over time you realize the weight is crushing you. It steals your joy. It steals your sleep. It steals your ability to experience the beauty that still exists around you. Release the bitterness, release the resentment, release the desire for revenge, not because the wound was small, but because your future is too valuable to remain chained to yesterday. But forgiveness is not permission. This is where many people become confused. They believe forgiving someone means pretending nothing happened. They believe forgiveness requires forgetting the betrayal. They believe grace demands unlimited access. It does not. Forgiveness does not erase wisdom. In fact, true forgiveness often makes wisdom even stronger. You can forgive someone and still close the door. You can pray for someone and still protect your peace. You can wish them well without giving them another opportunity to wound you. There is no contradiction in that. You can release anger while still remembering the lesson. You can choose compassion without surrendering your discernment. Your heart can remain soft without becoming vulnerable to repeated harm. That is not weakness. That is maturity. There is wisdom in boundaries. Boundaries are not walls built from hate. They are fences built from healing. Every garden needs a fence. Not because flowers hate people, but because flowers deserve protection. So do you. Think about a beautiful garden. A gardener does not build a fence because they are angry with the world. The fence exists because something precious is growing inside. Your peace is precious, your confidence is precious, your purpose is precious, your spirit is precious. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to those sacred places. Healthy boundaries do not punish people. They simply define where your responsibility ends and another person's begins. They communicate without shouting. I value my well-being enough to protect it. Some people will misunderstand your boundaries. Some will call you distant. Some will call you selfish. Some will accuse you of changing. Perhaps you have changed. Perhaps you have finally learned that protecting your heart is not selfish. It is necessary. Never allow guilt to convince you that protecting yourself is selfish. It is necessary. You are responsible for your peace. No one else wakes up carrying your thoughts. No one else feels the weight of your sleepless nights. No one else is responsible for guarding the quiet place within your soul. That responsibility belongs to you. You are responsible for your future. Every decision you make today shapes the life you will live tomorrow. If you repeatedly return to environments that destroy your confidence, you should not be surprised when your future feels unstable. Choose environments that nourish your growth. Choose relationships that strengthen your spirit. Choose people whose presence brings clarity instead of confusion. You are responsible for the condition of your heart. Protect it from hatred. Protect it from bitterness. Protect it from becoming cold because someone else failed to value your love. Do not allow betrayal to transform you into someone you no longer recognize. Remain compassionate, remain kind, remain wise. Kindness and boundaries can exist together. Grace and discernment can walk side by side. Strength and gentleness are not enemies. They are partners. Forgiveness heals yesterday. It allows yesterday to release its grip on your soul. It reminds you that your story is greater than your suffering. But boundaries protect tomorrow. They ensure that the same wound is not reopened by the same choices. Healing requires both. Compassion without wisdom invites repeated pain. Wisdom without compassion hardens the heart. You need both, not one without the other. So forgive with courage, love with wisdom, trust with discernment, protect your peace without apology, because the strongest heart is not the one that allows endless hurt. The strongest heart is the one that learns, heals, forgives, and then has the courage to honor its own worth by refusing to return to the place where its spirit was repeatedly broken. Do not become the pain that hurt you. Do not allow someone else's betrayal to rewrite your identity. Do not become suspicious of everyone because one person failed your trust. One broken promise does not mean every promise is empty. One dishonest heart does not mean honesty no longer exists. One act of betrayal does not erase the goodness that still lives in this world. The world still holds honest souls, faithful hearts, loyal friends, genuine love. People who keep their word even when no one is watching. People who protect your confidence instead of using it against you. People who celebrate your success instead of secretly competing with you. They exist. Do not let disappointment convince you otherwise. But finding them begins with becoming one. Become the kind of person you hope to meet. Become honest even after someone lied to you. Become loyal even after someone walked away from you. Become compassionate even after someone showed you cruelty. Never allow another person's choices to determine your character. Your values should never depend on how someone else treated you. Pain has a choice. It can poison your spirit or polish your character. Every difficult experience places two roads before you. One road leads toward bitterness. The other leads toward wisdom. Bitterness whispers, never trust again. Wisdom gently says, trust carefully, but never stop believing in goodness. Bitterness builds walls so high that even love cannot enter. Wisdom builds healthy boundaries while leaving the windows of hope open. Choose refinement. Choose to become wiser instead of harder. Choose to become stronger instead of colder. Choose to let every painful lesson shape your discernment without stealing your compassion. Learn the lesson. Carry the wisdom. Leave the bitterness behind. Bitterness feels powerful for a moment, but over time, it becomes another prison. It keeps your attention fixed on the people who hurt you, instead of the life waiting ahead. Do not carry yesterday's wounds into tomorrow's opportunities. Your future deserves a healed version of you, not a haunted one. You survived what was meant to break you. Think about that for a moment. There were nights you thought your heart would never recover. There were mornings when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. There were moments when silence felt louder than any conversation. Yet here you are. Still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. That is not weakness. That is evidence. Evidence that your spirit is stronger than disappointment. Evidence that your courage is greater than your pain. Evidence that what tried to destroy you only revealed the strength that was already living within you. Never underestimate the power of a heart that refuses to quit. Scars are not signs that you failed. They are reminders that you healed. Do not spend your future proving your worth to people who already misused your loyalty. Some people will never recognize your value, not because you lack value, but because they lack the vision to appreciate it. Stop chasing validation from those who repeatedly overlooked your goodness. Stop exhausting yourself trying to convince people to respect what they have already taken for granted. Your energy is too precious. Your purpose is too important. Spend it building a life so peaceful that betrayal can no longer rent space inside your mind. Wake up with gratitude instead of resentment. Fill your days with growth instead of regret. Surround yourself with people who nourish your spirit instead of draining it. Create a life where peace becomes your greatest achievement, because success without peace is still a form of poverty. Rise with grace. Do not allow revenge to become your motivation. Rise with wisdom. Carry the lesson, not the anger. Rise without revenge. The greatest response to betrayal is not proving someone wrong. It is proving to yourself that your future is bigger than your past. When you rise with dignity, you deny betrayal the final word. When you choose joy, you reclaim what pain tried to steal. When you continue loving life with wisdom instead of fear, you declare that your spirit remains undefeated, because your greatest victory is becoming someone betrayal could not destroy. Not someone who never cried, not someone who never felt broken, but someone who walked through heartbreak, gathered every lesson, protected every piece of wisdom, and emerged with greater strength, deeper compassion, and unshakable self-respect. That is true victory. That is lasting strength. That is the quiet power of a soul that refuses to let betrayal define its destiny. The most important relationship you will ever build is the one with yourself. Before betrayal, there were moments, small moments, moments that seemed insignificant at the time, a strange feeling you could not explain, a conversation that left your spirit unsettled, a promise that sounded right but somehow felt empty. Your intuition whispered, something feels wrong. Your spirit hesitated. Your heart noticed, but you ignored yourself. You gave someone else's words more authority than your own inner wisdom. You questioned your instincts instead of questioning their behavior. You silenced the quiet voice inside because you wanted the relationship to work more than you wanted the truth. Many people have done the same, not because they were weak, but because hope is powerful. Hope believes people can change. Hope believes love can heal. Hope believes tomorrow will be different. Hope is beautiful. But hope without wisdom becomes blindness. Never abandon your inner wisdom again. Your discernment is a gift. It is not fear. It is not negativity. It is the quiet wisdom that life has planted within you. It does not scream. It whispers. It gently nudges your heart when something is not aligned. It asks you to slow down when emotions are trying to rush ahead. It reminds you to observe before you commit. Learn to honor that voice. Respect it. Strengthen it. Listen to it. The more you listen to your inner wisdom, the clearer it becomes. The more you ignore it, the quieter it grows. Do not wait until pain proves what your spirit already knew. Trust yourself enough to pay attention. Every experience has sharpened your vision. Every disappointment has taught you something. Every broken promise has strengthened your ability to recognize what is genuine and what is merely convincing. Do not regret your past. Respect the lessons it gave you. Those lessons were expensive. They cost tears. They cost sleepless nights. They cost heartbreak. Make sure they were not paid in vain. Carry the wisdom forward, not the fear, not the bitterness, the wisdom. You no longer need to chase acceptance. The people who truly value you will never require you to abandon your dignity to earn their love. You no longer need to beg for honesty. Honest people do not make you beg for what should already exist between two hearts. You no longer need to convince people to value what they freely neglected. Your worth has never depended on another person's ability to recognize it. A diamond remains valuable even when someone mistakes it for an ordinary stone. Its value never changes. Only another person's perception does. The same is true for you. Walk with confidence, not because life has been easy, but because every challenge has made you stronger. Walk with dignity. Refuse to lower your standards simply because someone refuses to rise to them. Walk knowing that your worth does not decrease because someone failed to honor it. Their inability to appreciate your loyalty does not make your loyalty less valuable. Their lack of honesty does not diminish your integrity. Their betrayal does not define your identity. You know who you are. Stand firmly in that truth. Trust is precious. It is one of life's greatest treasures. Do not hand it away carelessly. Guard it carefully. Not with fear, but with wisdom. Give it slowly. Allow time to reveal character. Let consistency become the foundation before trust becomes the gift. Protect it faithfully. Because every healthy relationship is built brick by brick, one honest conversation. One kept promise, one faithful action at a time. Never confuse urgency with sincerity. The people who deserve your trust will never be offended by your careful heart. They will understand that trust is earned, not demanded, not manipulated, earned. Remember this whenever life introduces someone new. Your heart is not a place for repeated betrayal. It is not a battlefield where deception is allowed to return again and again. It is not a shelter for people who repeatedly break what they promised to protect. Your heart is sacred. It carries your dreams, your faith, your purpose, your compassion, your future. Guard it with courage. Honor it with wisdom. Trade it with the same kindness you so freely give to others. Because when you finally learn to trust yourself first, you stop searching for people to complete you. Instead, you recognize those who truly deserve to walk beside you. Your heart is a sacred place, and sacred places deserve sacred people.